The Yeti Witch is one of the easiest ground attack strategies you can use at Town Hall 13. We'll break down how to use this army and how to deal with both multi and single target Inferno bases. For a simple spam army, your hero equipment is just as important. For the Barbarian King, I would recommend either the Rage Vial and Giant Gauntlet, or if you don't have access to the Giant Gauntlet, use the Rage Vial and the Vamp Stash. Both sets of abilities will allow you to do massive work while your king is inside the base. Now, for the Archer Queen, any set of abilities is going to work best for her. However, I would recommend running a combo of Healer Puppets plus the Invisibility Vial more often than not for its really nice survivability. But if you are waiting for the Queen's new epic, I would recommend just sticking to the Archer Puppets plus the Invisibility Vial, both of which will keep your queen alive for a while, even if she is by herself. Now, as for the Grand Warden, I would typically recommend the Eternal Tome plus the Healing Tome for that nice comfort that you can get from the heals. It will heal squishy units like the Witches and keep the Yetis alive and tanking. The Eternal Tome is something that pretty much everyone can take full advantage of. Now, you can also run the Rage Gem with the Eternal Tome, but more often than not, you are going to prefer healing over the 50% rage, and remember, you only get a 25% rage on your heroes. With that said, it's also important to know what you're looking for in an attack like this. Since this is a super simple bat spell army, most defenses that you want to look for are pretty easy to spot. Splash damage is your #1 target. So focus on removing Wizard Towers, multi-target Infernos, if there are any, Scatter Shots, and the Eagle Artillery. Of course, one defense you must take down though is the Town Hall's Giga Inferno. Due to it just having a lot of HP, it's not acting like a normal defense for bats, and of course, it's just something that you want to take down so you don't get a 1-star. But of course, since you have a lot of free spells, you want to remove as much splash off of the base as possible with your heroes, your witches, and your yetis. So with those bats though, you want to use them on top of splash damage while also freezing it. If there are 2 splash damage defenses close together, you can freeze them both with just 1 freeze. However, if there is a splash damage defense that is too far but within range of attacking your bats, then you might as well just run another freeze spell on that building, so you are still running 2 freeze, but you're able to keep a lot of your bats alive and swarming the defenses. Otherwise, you just want to make sure that you avoid having the bats with your ground troops, especially if you find the dreaded tornado trap. So the good news is though, you just don't have to worry about red air bombs. Now this should give you a super simple breakdown of what you need to look for before you actually enter into an attack. So let's now break down how easy this strategy is versus both type of Inferno towers. So we want to get started with an all multi-target Inferno design. If you're looking for the army composition, this is what I would recommend since you don't really need any super troops for this. But to start the strategy off, you want to make sure that you're setting the funnel. On the left, you should be setting up the funnel with 2 Yetis and 2 Witches, while on the other side, you're doing the exact same thing, 2 Yetis, 2 Witches. You'll then spam in the rest of your Yetis and Witches right in between your funnel by also then sending in your heroes followed by the log launcher. It's really important to make sure to use an early Grand Warden ability to protect everything as you move deeper. It's also really important to go in and clear as many splash buildings as possible while your heroes are staying inside the base. You want to make sure that the Healing Tome is offering a lot of value to healing up the Witches, the heroes, and of course the Yetis as you power in, having maybe a rage spell there to even move deeper through and provide a lot of support for the Yetis. Of course, you should also have your Royal Champion going in for some splash buildings. This could be a multi-target Inferno, Wizard Tower, etc. But you want to make sure that she is clearing out some type of buildings as you work yourself in. You just want to make sure that your heroes are getting closer to the town hall, maybe dealing with the enemy CC as well, which will definitely make it far easier. But you just want to make sure that you are removing the town hall to make it much easier for you when you send in your bats. Now that you've got a good chunk of the base down, I would then recommend start sending in your bats. I typically recommend looking for an area of some good splash buildings like a wizard tower and scatter close together, but even if you don't get that, you just want to continuously freeze the splash damage defenses. So I would typically recommend trying to make sure that you don't fail with your free spells and thus cause a lot of your bats to just thin out. You want to make sure that you have more than enough bats to absolutely swarm the rest of it. So being sure to not let most of them die and keeping the free spells so that way they can clear through these type of defenses makes it so much easier for you as you quickly work yourself through. This works pretty well against multi-target Infernos, and more often than not, as long as you get a good chunk of the splash damage, you can absolutely clear these type of designs. Now, of course, if you're also hitting single target Inferno designs, this is a very, very easy strategy for it. Same rules apply. You're going to set up one side of the funnel with 2 Yetis and 2 Witches, and you're going to do the same thing on the other by then spamming in your Yetis and your Witches. Now keep in mind that you still want to go for as many splash buildings, even if there are single target Infernos. If there's one multi in the core, try to make sure that you're going in for that while also trying to go in for the Town Hall. This could be sending in your log launcher at a closer angle rather than going in all the way from the opposite side. But you do want to make sure that you are still popping the use of the Grand Warden ability to keep everything alive, and using the Rage spell to support a lot of your troops, including the Yetis, the Witches, and maybe any heroes. So even if your King and Queen do split off and your King goes on the outside, you can still get a large amount of value. Just making sure that you're able to keep moving through is the name of the game with your heroes, and as long as you can clear enough splash buildings to where you can basically have 4 to 5 free spells to support your bats is all that you need. Now with a good chunk of the splash dealt with, you can basically start sending in your bat spells. You can use them pretty much anywhere. If the Eagle Artillery is still up, you could probably use it there in order to clear the Eagle Artillery early, but you just want to make sure again that you are freezing up as many of the splash buildings. For the most part, you should have more than enough free spells to absolutely clear through. I mean, 5 free spells is more than enough to clear through anything, as long as you can get a good chunk of the splash, and you could actually keep a lot of your bats up. You can have an easy, very, very easy 3-star with something like this. If you already love the Yeti Witch attack, you are going to love adding the bat spells to them. Of course, if you want another fantastic and easy attack strategy, check out this video right here where we talk all about the Inferno dragons at Town Hall 13.